Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So I really thought about this for about a minute of what am I going to call this episode? And, you know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, if you're a new listener, thank you for listening. If you've been listening for a while, thank you for listening. But whether you're new or listening for a while, these podcasts are about, like, what is coming up for me in my world, in my life. This is why so many of you, by the way, too, will say to me, like, it feels like you're just, like, having a conversation, like, you're just talking to me. I don't sit here and, like, plan this shit out. I want it to be like that. I want it to be a real, raw conversation. I want it to be experiences that I've gone through or I'm going through in my life, or I've, heard other people talk about in their life. And it's like, what do I see in that? And I feel called to share this with you on the podcast. Like, this is just it. This is all of Women Wanting More, by the way. This is the entire movement is exactly that. It's our stories, isn't it? It's our stories that connect one another. It's our stories that don't make us feel all alone. It's our stories and our life that connects us all to each other, because we are all connected to each other. Whether or not you want to believe that or not, you can believe or not in gravity, but it's still there. So we're all connected. And there's too many times that we feel all alone in these struggles and these things that we go through in life. And so I feel called to kind of put myself out there and to share this with you. And the thing that has been true for me in my life for the last 6, 8, 9 months has been this real pull to spirituality, to God. And it doesn't matter what you call it, God, universe, source, higher power. Like, I know, I used to get hung up on that stuff too. Like, oh, I don't want to call it God. Like, that's the G word. And then that's connected to religion. And I don't really like religion. And that doesn't really work for me. And I don't want to be told what to do. And I had all sorts of thick shit going on about it. But I just felt this really organic pull to spirituality, to God. And so I'm calling this episode Let Go and Let God. Some of you might not like it. Some of you will love it. It's all right. It's all good. There's always something for you to see in this. But, I was listening to one of Oprah's masterclass podcasts, and it's actually her. I don't know if you've ever heard the podcast before, the Oprah's masterclass one. And it's ones that she had, I think, in videos right on her network, on her own network. And then they've repurposed them and put them into audio, into podcast episodes, which is awesome. Because I love podcasts. That's what got me on the podcast bandwagon, if you will, as I am a listener too. And so as I'm listening to a masterclass, which is actually her, and it's in 2 parts, and she tells this really, really fascinating story about how she got the part for Color Purple. So I'm not sure where you are in your life, but I remember when The Color Purple came out and how big that was. What I didn't know was her whole thing behind it. So let me share this with you. So she said when the book The Color Purple came out, which is a book by Alice Walker. Is it Alice Walker or Alice Munro? I think it's Alice Walker. And she said she read the review for the book in the newspaper. And from that review, she went right to the bookstore. She said in her pajamas, right to the bookstore, started reading the book in the bookstore, finished the book by the end of the day, went back to the bookstore, was so moved because it was like, she felt like she was reading, it was like her life. Went back to the bookstore, bought up all the rest of the books that they had. She said it was maybe 8 or something like that. And then brought them back to her staff at the time. The Oprah show was just really, it was newer. I'm trying to think of when she said, people were kind of they didn't really, she wasn't like the Oprah now, it's a long time ago, right? And by the way, if you haven't seen The Color Purple, oh my God, what a great movie. And she's phenomenal in it. So she continues to keep buying the books and has them with her and just shares them with everybody. Have you read this book before? Oh, you haven't? Oh, well, I just happen to have an extra copy. Just gives it out to people because she just feels so, the book just literally it changed her. And saw, because I don't know if you know, listen, this whole podcast, it's 2 parts of it. listen to both. They're amazing. I knew a little bit of Oprah's story. I know that she had been molested. I know she had been raped. I know, obviously, her weight issues. I know the whole thing where she's in the meat industry, took her to, court and stuff. I knew she didn't have the best home life coming up. I didn't know a lot of things. Like, I didn't know that she was pregnant at 14, had the baby, and then the baby died within a week. Like, yeah. Anyway, so she's reading the story in Color Purple and going like, oh my God, this is the story of me. It's like, 14-year-old gets pregnant, So what she talks about, she's giving out all the books and stuff. And then she starts hearing that they're going to make The Color Purple kind of later into a movie. And she's like, it's in her mind that, like, she needs to be in this movie. She wants to have a part in this movie. So somehow she kind of gets, like, an audition or, I don't know, something. So goes to talk to somebody. And then she kind of feels like maybe, did she say that maybe it went well and stuff? And then they're leaving. And I think maybe she's following up to say, like, how to do what's the next step. And they're like, listen, we're auditioning real actresses. You ain't a real actress, And so she feels kind of a little defeated by this, but she feels like this is something she's supposed to be doing. Like, she's supposed to be in this movie. And I know that you've had times in your life too, sister, but you just feel so called to something. This podcast was a great example. Creation of this podcast. Just podcasting. And you can ignore it, or you can really start to follow it. And so she kind of feels like she comes to this dead end with it, right? And so she's like, all right. And they told her that, she's, she's too fat and like all this kind of stuff. And so she goes to this, what she calls a fat farm. I don't know what that is. I guess she goes somewhere to lose weight. I don't know. Some retreat kind of thingy. And she said she's on the treadmill. And she's realized, and she's like just had a talk with God and just said, you know what, God, like, I surrender. And by the way, like, surrender is not about giving up. It's just like letting go and letting God. It's just like, if I'm supposed to be in this movie, then I'm going to allow you to do it for me. Like, I just, like, I'm going to let this go and let you do what you need to do and know that you have a plan for me. And I'm just going to get out of the way of this. And she said, like, just truly surrendered and just let go. Because she was devastated, And so she's on this treadmill, and they come in, and they're like, hey, this is like before. When did The Color Purple come out? Yeah, before cell phones. Or, maybe there was the brick cell phones. I can't remember exactly when the movie came out. Probably no cell phones. And they're like, hey, you have a phone call from Steven Spielberg. If you know anything about the movie, he actually ended up directing the movie. And I was like, I want you in this movie, Matt, and then the rest is history, right? So, and she said from that moment forward, like, she understood not only the power of God, universe, spirit, higher power, again, whatever word works for you, it's all the same thing. But that the power of letting go and surrendering and realizing that it's not as if we can't have like a vision of something that we want, but it's the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, by the way, another great book, The Four Agreements, of just like unattached to all those expectations. Like, you just have to let go. And it seems so counterintuitive, doesn't it? It's like, no, but if I want something, I gotta push for it, I gotta fight for it, I get it, I get that. But there's a different energy that you can go about it. This is such a, it's a fascinating thing for me to really share with you, because this is really where my life has been going to as well, of just like being more, actually Oprah really talks about being this more in this flow, in this allowing, and this feminine energy, and this softening into things versus like pushing, I'm going to make it happen, that real hard masculine energy. Now listen, there's a time and a place for that too, and it's not like as women, we don't have masculine energy. We sure as hell do. And men have feminine energy too. Like, we have both of that, right? But spiritually, it's more of that allowing energy, of that feminine energy. Let go and let God. And, a friend of mine, it's a very, very special human. And she's done some energetic readings for me. And she kind of shared this with me. She's like, I have this conversation at times. She's like, listen, when you are, someone who's a real producer and creator and you kind of make stuff happen, and right, it's like, it's hard for us sometimes. And you don't even have to be in the entrepreneurial space to be kind of knowing like, yeah, I make shit happen. I'm the one who does that stuff. Like, I've pushed it. You can look back on your life and go, this is how I got this. This is how this person came in my life. This is how I created this. This is how, right? And think that is the only way to bring things and to create in your life. And I'm just going to have you consider, sister, that there could be another way for you to do that. And it ain't about just hoping and praying and somehow things pop up, right? I do believe that it takes more than that. It's not about vision boarding and saying, if I put it down, I write down a goal, I put up pictures on a piece of paper and put it up on the wall, that I'm going to manifest that, right? There's more to it than that. Yes, have the vision. Yes, take a look at what are the steps I need to take. But then you got to let it go, because think of the time when, there was like that kid when you were growing up, right? Or maybe someone who's like wanted like a relationship, a romantic relationship, where either you or the other person pushed so hard, like you really wanted them, right? In relationships, we'll kind of say like, oh, she was clingy, or he was like too intense. It's funny, we'll use different words, right? Women will be clingy, men will be like too intense or overbearing, or then we're going to just label them with that term narcissist and like go off on that whole thing. And when we've come at it from that energy, like think if that's been someone who's coming towards you who really wants you to get them to be with them in some way or like them, maybe it was like a friendship thing, maybe like as a kid, you can think of that kid that just like they tried too hard. Do you know what I mean? That what's required in those moments is not more pushing, it's a letting go. It's a letting go. It's a surrendering. It's a letting go and letting go of control. Ooh, that's going to be a hotbed for a lot of you. I realize with something right now that I'm really, really want within my life, there still has been, even with all the work I've done, even with all the understanding, even with all of the, all the support and all of this and all of this I know, and I still go, man, there's still a little piece of me that's kind of pushing this to make it happen. Like, oh shit. We want to control it. We can't. I know right now you go, no, but Karen, you know me, like, I'll make it happen. And like, I hear you, sister. I was absolutely there. I'm still there at times. Like this is a society that rewards that, right? We take a look, we're like grit, perseverance, and hard work, and but like push. Time and a place for that stuff, right? Time and a place. But then you gotta let it go. You gotta let go and let God come in and do the job that he or she is designed to do. You need to let go and allow the universe to begin to put things into action with all of the intensity of your vision and all of the clarity in that and all of the work you've done. Now you just gotta let it be. And keep showing up and keep that vision and keep that clarity and keep that, you showing up in a place of love and not being fearful of like, what if and what, like just let go and let God. Let go and let God, let go and let God, let go and let God. Let's try that again. At the very end of me finishing up, somehow it just turns off and the music comes on. Okay, on my phone. I'm going to record all my podcasts, by the way. So your more tips. So I want you to journal. So right at the top of the page, so you've got, a point of reference and a metric. Let go and let God. After you've listened to this episode, maybe listen to it again. But yeah, it might be something where you're triggered, right? You're like, I don't like this because I've let go before. I'm like, I didn't get what I wanted. There could be something that, is really relevant to you right now that you go, I have been like just so pushing and just know when I say let go, it doesn't mean you let go of the vision. It doesn't mean you let go of what's really important to you and what you're trying to create. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means you let go of the energy of like, it has to happen. And if it doesn't, it's going to mean X, Y, Z. And if it doesn't, then this. And if it does, like that's the letting go piece of it. That's the letting go. Let go and let God. And there's something for you to see in this. I really believe and know that. So, finishing up, sister, a couple things. Number one, the next 21-day Women Want More 21-day challenge is coming up in about a week. Okay, so here's the deal. So we have the first one. We're just finishing up the first 21-day challenge. Like amazing changes, amazing start for so many women to really begin to understand the power that they have to really create things within their life. And it doesn't necessarily mean from a pushing energy, right? But this is finishing up, and round 2, the next group is coming through. So we filled up those 21 spots, 21-day challenge. We're going to be going through challenges every single day, weekly video trainings, all sorts of amazing stuff. So at the end of 21 days, you will have a plan in place. You can plug and play it. You can kind of forward into the next group, which is the next step to that as well, too. But we start with the 21 days. So if you would like to get on the list, which means that you will get advance notice over anybody else to be able to get in on one of those 21 spots, you need to email me right now, Dr. Karen Osburn. So that's DrKarenosburn @gmail.com. And just simply put in the subject line, I want to get on the list. I will respond back and add you on. Right now, there's over 30 women on the list. Okay, so here's what this also means. When you get the email from me, I'm actually sending one out today as I record this podcast, and I think I'm putting out the same day. I'm letting all the women on the list know, hey, heads up, tomorrow it's dropping. And I will send you all of the details. And you're going to have to grab that spot right away because they're going to go fast, like 24 or 48 hours. They're going to go really, really fast. So email me, drkarenosburn @gmail.com if you want to get on the list. Doesn't mean you have to be in the challenge, but it means you'll have a spot to get in. And if you're feeling called to do this, then do this. And it's something that I set up with the tuition where every woman is able to do this. I'm telling you, every woman. Every woman, every woman, every woman. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is if you haven't already joined the Journey to Feminine, which is a brand new free Facebook community that I created about 2 months ago, I want you to go to Facebook now and type at the top, The Journey to Feminine, The Journey to Feminine, and request to be added to the group. And we love to have you join over 250 women that are already inside that very sacred, beautiful space. So I will talk to the next episode. A life of more is just one step away from you letting go and letting God every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.